Right now, a brazen Midtown attack leaves a man out $100,000. New at 10, who cops are looking for.
Also new at 10, the first real shot of snow this winter, the big delays and the cleanup underway. Mr. G with what's next.
Then, reports of lax security at an Obama rally have backers worried. Did the Secret Service drop the ball?
Plus, teachers crossing the line between educator and sex predator. It's not just a few, it's thousands. Mary Murphy with what's behind it and what's being done about it.
And caught on tape, a dog's wild ride behind the wheel of a truck.
The CW11 News at 10 starts right now.
This is the CW11 News at 10.
Also tonight, students and the driver involved in a violent bus brawl. But first, the big story.
A violent attack in Midtown today, just unbelievable. Police say a man was dragged down the street and hit with some kind of object, probably a gun. It happened in broad daylight. The man was robbed of $100,000. This brazen attack, which sounds like something out of a movie, took place in front of a Starbucks at 56th Street and 6th Avenue in the heart of Midtown. That's where we find our Chris Glorioso live tonight with late details. Chris?
And that's what so many people are saying. It sounds like a scene right out of an action movie. A man, a talent agent who represents musicians, carrying $100,000 in cash right down this sidewalk, right in front of a Starbucks in the middle of the day, is attacked and robbed. And there are so many questions. First of all, why was he carrying so much cash? Second of all, how did the robber know he was carrying the cash? And third, where did the attacker make off to? There is no shortage of conspiracy theories.
They were watching him in the bank. You know, the guys that sneak in the bank, and then they look and somebody takes money out, and that's how they go grab money.
Abraham Hockman heard the Midtown commotion from his limo driver's seat. When he got out, he saw robbery victim Seton Iams bloody and lying on the Starbucks sidewalk. The 50-year-old music talent agent had just been beaten, possibly by the butt of a gun. The suspect made off with approximately $100,000 in cash.
As far as I know, he lives alone, but he's one of the nicest guys, one of the nicest guys in the building. I was talking to him Wednesday out here. We were looking at the eclipse.
Al Soto is the robbery victim's doorman. He isn't sure why Iams would have been carrying such an enormous sum of money. The talent agent had reportedly just withdrawn the cash from this nearby Chase Bank. He hadn't walked more than a block when the attacker tried to rip off his money-stuffed bag.
Oh, it sounds like whoever jumped him apparently knew what was going on. Maybe he got a tip from somebody, because how did he know that this gentleman had, money in the briefcase or whatever he was carrying it?
Police say the robber stands about 5'9" and was wearing a black parka with black pants. He's a black man between 25 and 30 years old. One problem for investigators, many witnesses were working in nearby hotels and restaurants. They emerged too late to eyeball the attacker, but they did see the victim collapse.
And I take a look at the Starbucks. I saw the man, like, he's falling down to the floor.
Face was bleeding, he was laying on his, like this.
Police report the victim, Seton Iams, is in stable condition at Cornell Medical Center. We are told that he never lost consciousness by witnesses, and we believe he had to get some stitches in the back of his head. Now, some of those witnesses believe they heard a gunshot in the middle of all this, but tonight, police telling us they have found no ballistics evidence of that, no shell casing, and at this point, they believe he was struck with some kind of object, possibly the butt of a gun. Reporting live in Midtown with this unbelievable story, Chris Glorioso for the CW11 News at 10. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. A developing story for you now. Information is still coming in on what led to a tense standoff with a man holding a small child hostage. Arthur Chan is live for us in Long Island City, where the standoff ended just late this evening. Arthur.
Katie, it was a very tense scene out here. Neighbors tell us it began as a dispute between a husband and wife, with possibly the wife telling the husband to move out. It did not go down well. He got her out of the apartment but barricaded himself inside with the youngest of their 3 daughters. And then he poured gasoline around the apartment, including onto the clothes he was wearing. Sources tell us he was preparing to take his own life. Luckily, it did not turn out that way. The 7-hour standoff ended with the surrender of 38-year-old Vincent Ricks.
That's up. Excuse us, please.
A dazed expression stretched across his face. Minutes before, his daughter Serena was brought out to safety to the waiting arms of her mother inside an ambulance. Neighbors who know Ricks say all of it was out of character.
He's a nice guy. He don't bother nobody. I see them, she work, they go, they leave out, that's it.
He's a quiet kid. He doesn't bother anybody. He comes and goes.
Negotiators spent hours trying to convince Ricks to come out of the 6th-floor apartment or at the very least hand over his 3-year-old daughter Serena. Family members waited in tears. Sources say the 38-year-old was despondent and barricaded himself. At some point, he knocked out the windows. Police then smelled gasoline. Fearing he'd set it off, the building was evacuated and Con Ed brought in to shut off the gas.
It's possibly because he's scared of all the cops, but I think he should let the baby out, or however many kids he has.
Sources say the key to Rick's surrender was a friend who talked the Queens man into removing the barricades and opening his door, ending the tense situation. Now, Ricks is a construction worker. Tonight, he's at Elmhurst Hospital undergoing a psychiatric evaluation. As for the people who live in this neighborhood, nobody really mad at him. Pretty much everyone just feels sorry for him. We're live tonight in Long Island City. Arthur Chian for the CW11 News at 10. Jim?
All right, thank you, Arthur. Now, to the other big story, the biggest snowstorm of the season. And the storm really, folks, not over yet. Storm Track 11 still in high gear tonight. A slow go as drivers battled the elements throughout the region. Some parts of the tri-state got up to 10 inches of snow. Plows, salt trucks kept busy all day long. Lots and lots of accidents. You still have to be careful out there. Roads icing up as temperatures drop. Airlines trying to get back on track after hundreds of flights were canceled at all 3 major area airports, leaving many travelers stranded tonight as they try to catch up to the backlog. Still a mess out there. Temperatures dipping below freezing at this point, so basic rules. Bundle up, watch your step. Sidewalks, streets getting icy. We have live team coverage beginning with Mr. G and what's happening out there right now. G.
All right, Jim, in and around the tri-state area still have the winter storm warning in effect through 1 a.m. north, north and west, north and east of the city. Still, we have a winter weather advisory. City 5 boroughs, Nassau and Suffolk County. We do have a little bit of moisture spilling in our direction. It's rain. It goes over to a little bit of freezing rain on top of the mantle of snow. We'll have that tonight through early tomorrow, and once again you'll be able to see the moisture heading right across Route 80 in Pennsylvania. Switch gears, snow totals, man, it came down. It's a record Kennedy, it's a record in the park, it's a record in LaGuardia. Nyack, 6 inches of snow. Who do you know in New Jersey? Vernon, the Snow Shovel Award, 9 inches. Hapakon, 8. Wayne, Newark, a record 6.8 inches. Any flakes flying over the weekend? We'll talk about it in the next 5 days. All that in less than 10 minutes. Guys?
All right, G, and things are finally looking up tonight at our airports after a horrible day. There were hundreds of flights canceled, really long delays. Allison Hans is live for us at LaGuardia. How's it look right now, Allison?
Not too bad at this point, Cuddy, today, but it was a brutal day today with 3 to 5 hour delays and more than 500 cancellations. As I said, things are looking back to normal at this hour. Most flights are taking off and landing on time, but today, no doubt about it, it was one huge headache. During the height of today's storm, the lines at LaGuardia snaked around the terminal as frustrated passengers tried to figure out if and when they'd ever get out of town. It was the same story at JFK and Newark.
I'm 4 hours delayed. I've been at the airport for a couple hours, but I'm going to get there, so I guess that's the important thing.
But hundreds of people didn't get out. Many passengers helplessly watched the snow plows clear the tarmacs only to watch the planes sit idle on the runways. Eventually, many learned their flights were canceled altogether.
The taxiways and runways are in great condition. The problem is the airlines do have to de-ice, so they've been pre-planning a lot of cancellations, which is the big story today.
John Jacoby, the general manager at Newark, says many airlines learned their lesson last year when a winter storm forced major delays at the airports. Instead of immediately canceling the flights last year, the delays left many passengers in limbo, stranded on board planes for hours and in airports for days. Jacoby says that to avoid a similar fiasco, many airlines just canceled today.
It's better to cancel the flights early before a big storm rather than wind up with aircraft and crews out of position, and then it takes them days, if not a week, to recover.
And passengers affected by today's storm hope this recovery is short and sweet.
I actually tried to get on an earlier flight, couldn't make the change, so here I am, off to Vegas, hopefully win a little money.
You have better luck there than here at the airport.
I hope.
Let's hope he does okay. Once again, things are back to normal at this hour. The big question is, how will all these airports handle all the people who will be returning tomorrow to catch all those flights that were canceled today? That is the latest here tonight at LaGuardia. I'm Allison Hans for the CW11 News at 10. Jim, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. One man who was working to keep the roads clear of ice and snow nearly met with tragedy himself. A A close call. Take a look. The driver of a DOT, Department of Transportation truck, ended up on the ground in the snow. He was bleeding. The driver was heading north on the Van Wyck Expressway early this morning when police say he lost control of the truck and apparently had to jump out of the cab. One driver at the scene who was a bit shaken up picks up the story from there.
And I look into the mirror and I see that truck hitting that wall, banging my car and hit the wall on this side and the right side. When I look, I get up from the car, all paranoid. I look at the truck, there was nobody inside the truck. I run all the way up there, I see the guy lay down. I don't know how he laid down on the street.
Wow, the Department of Transportation driver was taken to Elmhurst Hospital. Exit 1 on the northbound Van Wyck was closed for nearly 2 hours.
Stay right here for continuing Storm Track 11 coverage. Just ahead, important information you need on getting rid of that snow, slush, and ice safely. Plus, Mr. G is working on your full 5-day forecast right now. He's going to have all the details in just a matter of minutes. Now to some more news. A high school student is facing charges tonight for a series of threatening emails that led to the lockdown of a local college. St. Peter's College in Jersey City was locked down on Wednesday. Police in Corpus Christi, Texas are expected to arrest 18-year-old Christy Perez, who is charged with terroristic threats and false public alarm. Perez could face up to 5 years in jail for each count. Police traced a series of 5 or 6 threatening emails sent by him to the 19-year-old female roommate of her boyfriend.
They got embroiled in a fight. During the course of that argument, for lack of better terminology, via the internet, she focused on a female roommate of her boyfriend. She then began to send emails to this female that she was going to be killed.
A separate handwritten note posted on Wednesday at the school was not attributed to Perez. That note mentioned last year's campus shooting at Virginia Tech. Police say the note and emails taken together prompted the lockdown.
All right, you got 1 more hour to buy a ticket for your teeny tiny chance to maybe strike it rich. Really, really rich. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot has grown to $270 million, Katie.
Woo!
That's about $135 million if you choose the cash option. I think you better start thinking about that right now. None of the tickets sold for Tuesday's $220 million drawing matched all the winning numbers, so on we go. Tonight's drawing is the game's 5th largest jackpot ever. Stay right here. Keep an eye on the bottom of your screen. We will bring you the winning numbers just moments after they're picked at 11 o'clock.
All right, a car wreck goes undiscovered for an entire day with deadly consequences.
Also, an investigation into a brawl on a bus, one in which even the driver was involved.
Tragedy on the campaign trail. A motorcycle cop killed in an accident in Hillary Clinton's motorcade.
Up next, a decision about whether the man accused of killing a local therapist with a meat cleaver can stand trial.
We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Speeches stirred a generation. His marches outlined the way to economic freedom, and his message revealed true democracy. His words helped bring about the end of a brutally unequal system. Learn what made this man a national icon in American history, and how the country is honoring him on Justice, Equality, and Hope, the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., tomorrow at 10:30 on the CW11.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
The Chevy President's Day sale is here with great deals on many 08s from the #1 selling brand in America. Hurry before these commanding offers are history.
Get 0% APR financing for qualified buyers plus $1,000 President's Day bonus cash on a 2008 Chevy Equinox. Find your nearest dealer on ChevyOffers.com.
CW11 News at 10 is brought to you by Chevrolet. Visit your local Chevrolet dealer or ChevyOffers.com.
The man accused of hacking a Manhattan psychologist to death with a meat cleaver has been found competent to stand trial. David Tarloff was in a court as a grand jury completed its investigation into that murder. Tarloff has a history of mental problems, and as Glenn Thompson tells us now, a judge agreed to postpone a plea in this case.
Several psychiatrists have found David Tarloff fit to stand trial for the brutal murder of psychologist Catherine Fahey. The 39-year-old indicted today for the brutal butcher death of a shrink at her Upper East Side office. He's also accused of slashing and wounding his former psychiatrist, Kent Shinbach. Despite the finding that he's fit to stand trial, his attorney argues Tarloff shouldn't have to plead to the charges until he's examined by his own psychiatrist.
He was evaluated by 2 psychiatrists. Both found him fit to proceed to trial, which only means basically that he has the ability to understand what's going on, that he can assist in his own defense. And I'm going to have another psychiatrist evaluate him as well, because certainly at this point, if I find that there's any reason to contest that finding, I can so contest.
Tarloff's defense attorney will also be allowed to hire a private investigator to look into the killing before making a plea to the charges. His lawyer arguing the case wasn't thoroughly investigated.
Well, a private investigator is going to look into the details and facts. He's going to find out certain statements, determine if there's any inconsistent evidence that the people have and that they haven't produced basically all details that they should be producing to the defense. So we're just going to leave no stone unturned from this point forward, and that's the way we're going to proceed in this case.
Tarloff's going to be formally arraigned on the murder charge later next month. He's expected to plead not guilty. At criminal court, I'm Glenn Thompson for the CW11 News at 10.
A disturbing story tonight about a car wreck that went undiscovered until it was too late to save the driver. Julie Squire says she believes if sheriff's deputies had investigated a little more, her 66-year-old epileptic husband might still be alive, and the 14-year-old autistic grandson would not have had to sit all night in freezing temperatures. The accident happened in Garrett, Indiana. Police say when authorities saw the wrecked car, they mistook it for a vehicle belonging to someone who was nearby gathering firewood. Nearly a day later, the body of Dwayne Squire was found outside his car. The grandson still alive. The deputies are said to be devastated about what happened.
A probe into a violent bus brawl tops the other stories from around the nation tonight. This happened in Gilbert, Arizona. The wild scuffle involved 3 students and even the driver. It was captured on surveillance video, so much is these days. It all started with a shouting match between the students. Police say the bus was parked on the side of the road at the time. Nobody seriously hurt in that fight. Also in the town of Gilbert, Arizona, a family is in shock over the death of their 2 dogs. The animals were attacked by a swarm of bees. Fire officials say thousands of the insects literally coated the dogs and stung them repeatedly. The family tried to help them, but the swarm started then to turn on them as well. And a daring rescue in Encinitas, California. A coastal bluff collapsed, leaving a man trapped below the waist in muddy debris. It took emergency crews about a half hour to free this guy, who wound up stuck partway up the bluff. Condition not immediately clear. At the time of the collapse, that man was working to shore up the bluff to protect the homes immediately above it.
Big day in Gilbert, Arizona.
Really? I can't believe they do
2 of the 3 stories in our national. What are the odds?
It'll never happen again.
They're steep. Not our weather, which is a pretty big story, too. Your first primetime 5-day forecast is ready now.
Let's get right over to G.
All right, does improve in the next 24 hours in around the tri-state area. Less in the way of precip. There's a nice shot. Bob Dyson, Farmingville, New York. He had about 7 inches of snow. One more swing, and we'll wipe it to Carmel, New York. And again, we want to thank Tom Falsetto. Again, in Carmel, they had about 8 inches of snow. Switch gears, go to the other computer. Let's go to work. All right, normal a date. Should be 17.5 inches. The snows came and bang. We're up to 11.7. We're minus 5.8 in terms of the norm. Floral Park, more spots. Long Island, 8 inches. Who do you know in Plainview? 6 inches. Lindenhurst, 6. Islip, a record. Kennedy, the Park, LaGuardia, all records. Nyack in at 6 inches. Take you to Connecticut. Stratford with the Snow Shovel Award, 9 inches. Greenwich, 8 inches. And it just kept coming and then finally passed over to sleet and then rain. And right now we got a little bit of a mixture just north and west of the city. Little drizzle here in town. We're slightly above freezing. And again, you see a train of moisture across Pennsylvania. We're going to watch that. It's one more shot coming on through, and that's how we see it through tomorrow morning. You can see basically dry, but a couple of flurries are possible early tomorrow. Sunday is the best day of the week. I mean, Sunday's great, golden sunshine, a ton of sun. Temperatures once again will be in the low 40s. Snow showers and tomorrow. Gorgeous and seasonable on Sunday. The normal should be right around 43 degrees. So that's a good storyline. And for us, very pretty for tonight. All precip ends. Southwest to northeast. Temperatures cold, though. Black ice a problem. Secondary roads a problem. Ramps are problems. Temperatures in the 20s. For tomorrow, a couple of flurries early, but we're going to keep the clouds No accumulation. Temperatures tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 30s. Your 5-day forecast goes like this. Okay, flurries early tomorrow, still a wintry look, a mantle white down, and it stays cold. And then on Sunday, gorgeous golden sunshine right around 40 degrees, 45 on Monday. Scattered showers on Tuesday, and Wednesday in a partly sunny skies, temperatures in the 40s. Bring on the weekend. Weather where you live. We'll check it out later on. Guys?
We're almost there. Thank you, Gene.
A lot more ahead on the news at 10. Some major security questions come up after a Barack Obama event.
It's a troubling trend in our schools. Teachers having sex with students. Now there's a high-tech way to try to fight the problem in our area. Our investigation is coming up.
Back to the snow for a second. You might want to think twice before you head out there to clear your stoop, your driveway, your sidewalk, what have you. Important information about snow shoveling. Some better ways to get rid of the snow.
It was a tragic fire that killed a 5-year-old boy who was left home alone. Up next, police make a heartbreaking discovery about how it all started.
Mazda now offers you a choice of 2 crossover SUVs, the sports car-inspired CX-7 and the 7-passenger CX-9. Will spoil you at every turn. The 5-passenger CX-7 and the 7-passenger CX-9. Designed and engineered the Zoom Zoom way.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Right now, lease a 2008 Mazda CX-7 front-wheel drive Sport for $219 a month for 27 months with $19.99 due at lease signing.
It's the Macy's One-Day Mattress Sale, Saturday. Last day to save 35 to 50% during our final closeout on mattresses. Get a queen 2-piece Sealy Posturepedic for $397. Pay no interest for 6 months when you use your Macy's card. See Macys.com or call 1-800-MACY-BED to make it even easier. The Macy's One-Day Mattress Sale, Saturday. That's the magic of Macy's.
The Spiderwick Chronicles is the #1 family movie. Roger Ebert raves it's terrific entertainment. And Time Magazine says it's a wondrous and scary adventure.
Ready to... Oh, yeah.
The Spiderwick Chronicles. Rated PG. Now playing.
It only happens once a year. The President's Celebration event at your Dodge dealer, where you'll get up to $6,000 cash allowance on Dodge Ram, part of the longest-lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups. And the all-new Grand Caravan with stow and go or available swivel and go. Now, very well-qualified returning Chrysler lessees can get a low-mileage lease on a Grand Caravan SXT for just $249 a month. And the best warranty in the business, Dodge's lifetime powertrain warranty. No deductible, unlimited mileage. But hurry, our President's Celebration event ends February 29th.
Log on now to CW11.com and save on tickets to see the all-new Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey presents Over the Top. It's heart-stopping, it's larger than life, it's over the top. Playing the New York area March 5th through April 13th.
You know why smart people car shop in winter? There are lots of cars and smaller crowds, and that means great deals. In fact, Toyota's President's Week special has been extended, which means you'll find incredible savings like a $199 per month lease on a well-equipped Camry LE or $1,000 cash back. So for extended President's Week savings, you need to see your Toyota dealer now. Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
This portion of the news brought to you by Toyota. See the all-new 2008 Highlander at your Toyota dealer. A smart way to keep moving forward.
The fire that killed a little boy left alone in his home started because he was playing with matches. Investigators today said the fire that killed 5-year-old Jason Guapa was an accident. It happened yesterday at the family's apartment in Corona, Queens. Police arrested Jason's brother, 24-year-old Diego Guapa, and charged him with child endangerment. Diego was supposed to be babysitting the child. He told cops he was out getting his taxes done. The little boy reportedly once told his mother he wanted to be a firefighter when he grew up.
The judge overseeing a lawsuit being brought against the city by 9/11 victims' families wants both sides to compromise. The families held a news conference today outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. They're fighting over whether to make the Fresh Kills landfill on Staten Island into a cemetery. But the city is resisting that idea. The families argue they had a constitutional right to force the city to turn the now closed landfill into a final resting place for their loved ones.
This is what is happening on the remains of our loved ones. They're sitting on top of the garbage dump
2,200-acre landfill, the city was forced to reopen it after September.
We saw all kinds of erosion. We saw pieces of firefighter bunker gear, hoses, pieces of fire engines. We know there's still material and it's unearthing and it's being exposed to the elements, and with that are the remains of our dead. So we are here to implore
The judge says the best solution is to put a memorial on that site.
Coming up, serious questions about a security breakdown involving the Barack Obama campaign.
The snow is pretty much over. Now we've got to get rid of it. Some different approaches to shoveling and how not to hurt yourself doing it.
It made a lot of headlines in recent years. Teachers who have had sex with their students. Jennifer Lopez not among them.
No.
By the way, I want to make that perfectly clear.
I don't think she's ever taught.
She's not a teacher. She's in the news tonight, though. So
yes, she is.
It's all coming up.
Okay.
President Millard Fillmore, best remembered as the first president to have a running water bathtub. He's unheard of. So we are honoring him during Kia's Unheard Of President's Day sale with unheard of deals on the Kia Sportage and the Kia Spectra. To commemorate Millard's bath time, we've created this Millard Fillmore soap on a rope.
Get unheard of deals like 1.9% APR plus 500 bonus cash.
Ladies.
Oh boy.
Je m'appelle Bob. I'm a French bull.
Wow, a French bull, huh?
Oui.
You must be lonely so far from home.
So lonely.
Lucky for you, Diane here speaks fluent French.
Salut, mon ami. Avez-vous habité en Paris?
Nuts.
Bonjour, ladies.
Forget it, dude.
Great milk comes from happy cows. Happy cows come from California. Make sure it's made with real California milk.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Lease a new Honda this President's Day. 706 a day and drive the Accord LX away. One of the 10 best cars from car and driver. Stingy with gas and very reliable.
Lease a new Honda this President's Day. 706 a day and drive the Accord LX away. Get a new Honda this President's Day. NYLIHonda.com. Yeah, NYLIHonda.com. NYLIHonda.com.
You say yes, I say no. You say stop, I say go. You say goodbye, and I say hello, hello, hello. You don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello. Hello, hello. I don't know why you say goodbye, I say hello.
It only happens once a year, the President's Celebration event at your Jeep dealer, where you'll get up to $4,000 cash allowance on Grand Cherokee, the best-selling full-size SUV in the Northeast, and the all-new Liberty, with legendary Jeep strength and capability. Now, well-qualified returning Chrysler lessees can get a low-mileage lease on a Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $299 a month. And the best warranty in the business, Jeep's lifetime powertrain warranty. No deductible, unlimited mileage. But hurry, our President's Celebration event ends February 29th.
This portion of the news is brought to you by your New York Jeep dealers.
The headlines never cease to amaze. Teachers having sex with their students, sometimes multiple students. Well, there's a movement now in New York and even across the country to create a national database of abusive teachers and to make the penalties tougher. Mary Murphy has more in tonight's Fact Finders report.
The State Board of Regents, which investigates allegations of teacher misconduct, says it has a backlog of 800 cases. Some experts will tell you that as older students start taking more time to finish school, there's more risk they'll get sexually involved with teachers. But some of the victims are very young. She served as director at a prestigious East Side school, but now Lena Sinha is doing 14 years in prison. Her crime, having sex with a 12-year-old student.
I live in Albany.
Sometimes the punishment is lopsided. Writing teacher Beth Geisel of upstate New York, who had marital and alcohol problems, did 6 months in jail for sleeping with a 16-year-old male student, while Brooklyn educator Paul Kerner got nearly 3 years for having rendezvous with a 16-year-old girl.
The caseloads are overwhelming, and they can't move these cases fast enough.
State Senator Stephen Saland, who chairs the Education Committee, notes there's been a 400% increase in complaints against New York teachers between 2001 and 2007, with 75% of them involving sex. Nationally, the Associated Press found more than 2,500 educators had their teaching credentials revoked or sanctioned in a 4-year period following allegations of sexual misconduct. There are 3 million public school teachers in the U.S.
This issue on misconduct, we took it on ourselves to change the contract to make sure if there was probable cause of misconduct, somebody is removed immediately from the classroom.
But loopholes in some states allow troubled teachers to move from one district to another, a practice called passing the trash. And that's led to calls for the creation of a national data bank of abusive educators. Senator Soland was a driving force behind the 2001 New York State law that required fingerprinting of all school employees or prospective employees.
Since that period of time, there's been some 1,400 people who have been kept out of school buildings.
I believe that my mental illness had a lot to do with my actions.
Young, blonde, and telegenic, 24-year-old Deborah LaFave blamed bipolar disorder for her sexual involvement with a 14-year-old student. Criminal charges were dropped when the boy refused to testify. But not all psychiatrists would buy into this thinking, as we found when we first reported on these high-profile cases.
Bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder has nothing to do with this problem. That's part of someone's sexual arousal pattern, which is almost impossible to change.
I think in many of these cases, it's been a woman who has allowed herself to fall in love with a child, not stopping to recognize that that is absolutely unacceptable. And
complaints persist, especially among male academics, that female teachers sometimes get far less penalized than their male counterparts. Kathy Tuffle, a 44-year-old Nassau County tutor, received 6 months in jail for having sex with an 11-year-old blind boy, while Matthew Felipe, a former music director at a Catholic school in Suffolk, got hit with 12 years in prison for raping an 11-year-old girl.
And what was the next step after that?
The Office of Richard Condon, special schools investigator for New York City, investigated 95 sexual complaints in 2007. And the representative for school supervisors believes the office has been fair.
Whether it's teachers, supervisors, aides, school safety agents, I think the Office of Special Commissioner has done a phenomenal job of looking into that.
But the teachers union president notes her own members have been victimized at times too.
Too many people have been removed instead of there being a real investigation, because if there's just a specious allegation, it can kill somebody's life.
New York State plans to get new high-tech scanners to make criminal background checks of prospective teachers move along faster. But when the State Board of Regents requested more investigators to handle complaints, the governor's office turned it down, pointing out the state has a $4.4 billion budget deficit. Back to you.
Thank you, Mary. A war of words tonight between Dallas police and the U.S. Secret Service over the way security was handled at a rally for Barack Obama. The Dallas Star-Telegram is reporting police were ordered to stop screening people for weapons just a few hours before the Democratic candidate took the stage. This in Dallas, of all places. Police say the order was apparently made by the Secret Service so they could cut the long lines outside and get people into the arena on time. The Secret Service says this claim is outrageous. Officials say there were no security lapses at the venue, adding there was, quote, no deviation from the comprehensive and layered security plan.
Meanwhile, as the dust settles after last night's Democratic presidential debate in Texas, tragedy struck one of the campaigns. A deadly motorcycle accident brought the Clinton campaign to a standstill today. Elizabeth Manresa is live in Washington, D.C. with the very latest on exactly what happened. Elizabeth.
Well, good evening, Heidi. There was certainly a lot of anticipation surrounding last night's debate, but the buzz really ended today temporarily for Clinton's campaign. As you mentioned, a police officer was killed in a Clinton motorcade, and it actually took her off the campaign trail for a moment. The debate in Texas was a chance for Hillary Clinton to take some
Democratic debate in
Barack
Texas
Obama's campaign sales.
Lifting whole passages from someone else's speeches is not change you can believe in, it's change you can Xerox.
Washington has become a place where good ideas go to die.
Both candidates are intently focused on the crucial March 4th primaries in Texas and Ohio, now considered a must-win for Clinton. But tragedy brought the Clinton campaign to a standstill Friday. A Dallas police officer died after his motorcycle crashed while escorting Senator Clinton's motorcade to a campaign rally.
Certainly conveyed my heartfelt sympathy and concern to the police department and visited his widow at the hospital to thank her for her husband's service.
Clinton canceled her appearance in Fort Worth, Texas, telling supporters it would be inappropriate to campaign in the wake of the officer's death. Senator Obama also offered his condolences.
Our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Meanwhile, GOP presidential hopeful John McCain is trying to move past a New York Times article that suggested he had an inappropriate relationship with a female lobbyist, something McCain has denied.
I don't have any more comment about this issue. I had a press conference yesterday morning. I answered every question. I'm moving on. I'm talking about the issues and challenges of America and the big issues that Americans are concerned about.
Now, as for the other Republican candidate, Mike Huckabee, well, he's not giving in. Still on the campaign trail, Huckabee says he expects to win the Texas GOP primary. Reporting live in Washington, I'm Elizabeth Manresa, CW 11 News at 10. Jim, back to you.
Elizabeth, thanks very much. Well, many people were surprised, just shocked actually, by the volume of snow that fell today. It required, or will require, if you put it off, quite a bit of shoveling. Something we haven't been used to this winter, and that means some of us are going to be nursing sore backs over the next few days. So tonight, some tips. New Jersey reporter Vanessa Tyler was out in Montclair with shovelers of all ages.
You know that is going to hurt in the morning lifting a big pile of snow. Gene, as his friends call him, takes a large chunk. He bends, tossing it off to the side.
Yes, it is very hard.
What hurts?
My back.
Gladys Melendez is not looking forward to how she'll feel in the morning either. What's your technique, if any?
Don't lift. That's what they say, right? You're not supposed to lift, so I slide.
Smooth technique and smart move. She's also wearing a little protection under her clothes.
I'm wearing a brace. Yeah, because I do have a bad back.
Even though there is something else Jessica Goodson would rather do, many towns make you pay if you don't remove the snow.
I'll get fined if I don't have it shoveled.
It came down soft, fluffy. Jacqueline Sparrow and her son RJ got out early.
The only problem about cleaning that area is when the snow plows come, they plow us back in.
RJ's technique is scrape, scrape, lift. But even a 16-year-old's muscles are tired.
Just get down under and just push real hard.
But experts say not everyone can jump up and grab a shovel. It's not an easy job, especially if you're not used to vigorous exercise. In fact, heart attacks increase among shovelers after a heavy snowfall.
You see that? It's all white. I'm 6'7" years old. You want to make sure you don't get a heart attack shoveling this thing.
This is Mariano Banzon's third time out shoveling today. He doesn't want it to freeze tonight.
And then I shoveled it, then I shoveled it again, and then I took a rest.
It's also recommended stretching first. Warm up those muscles. Pick the right shovel. A smaller blade means lifting less snow, less strain on your back. And stop if you feel pain.
Well, I'm tired.
Make some whoosh for a snowblower. Vanessa Tyler, CW 11 News at 10.
Well, after a day like today, what do you think? Quick trip to Florida?
I'm there.
That's where Sal is from Met Spring Training just ahead.
Also, it seemed to be backing up normally, that car we're talking about, but you will be a little surprised when you find out exactly who, or rather what, is behind the wheel of the truck.
She's been pretty secretive about her pregnancy, but Jennifer Lopez is finally a new mommy.
And up next, an American embassy forced to close after days of rioting.
The incredibly fuel-efficient Mitsubishi Outlander. Hop in. It's go time.
Across the tri-state area, people are moving to Cable's Triple Play. 3 great services. 1 simple connection. 1 low monthly bill. That's TV, internet, and home phone service, all for less than $100 a month. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE today and get moving to Cable's Triple Play.
We're here today testing for the new Volkswagen Sign and Drive event, where you can get a new VW for practically just your signature. Just sign and drive. Introducing the Sign Then Drive event. Even better.
The Sign Then Drive event is back. No down payment, no first month's payment, zero due at signing. Now until February 29th.
Hey Yankees fans, the Sunday Daily News is giving you great glossy photographs of our greatest Yankees as voted by Daily News readers. Star collecting Lou Gehrig, Willie Randolph, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Dave Winfield, Whitey Ford, Catfish Hunter, Mariano Rivera, Yogi Berra, and manager Joe McCarthy. Get 2 Yankee greats each week free in the Sunday Daily News. Great photos of our greatest Yankees. Every Sunday only in the Sunday Daily News.
It only happens once a year, the President's Celebration event at your Dodge dealer, where you'll get up to $6,000 cash allowance on Dodge Ram, part of the longest-lasting, most durable line of full-size pickups. And the all-new Grand Caravan with stow and go or available swivel and go. Now, very well-qualified returning Chrysler lessees can get a low-mileage lease on a Grand Caravan SXT for just $249 a month. And the best warranty in the business, Dodge's lifetime powertrain warranty. No deductible, unlimited mileage. But hurry, our President's Celebration event ends February 29th.
This portion of the news brought to you by Dodge. Grab life.
Here are some of the stories making news around the world tonight. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said the Serbian government did not do enough to protect the U.S. and other Western embassies in yesterday's mob attack in Belgrade. U.S. officials are urging some staff members at the embassy to leave the country, leave Serbia, fearing there could be more violence against Americans there. Rioters protesting against Kosovo's newly declared independence broke into the compound, firebombed part of the building, leaving one person dead. In Iraq, good news for American forces. Radical Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr ordered his militia to extend its ceasefire order for another 6 months. At the same time yesterday, a parade was held commemorating the 4th anniversary of the Shiite uprising against U.S. forces. But so far, the ceasefire order, which went into effect for the first time 6 months ago, has been credited with lowering war-related deaths among Iraqis by nearly 70%. And President Bush wrapped up his tour of Africa with a visit to Liberia today, a nation recovering from a 14-year civil war. He praised Liberians for maintaining peace and progress as they rebuild their country, and added the United States would support Liberians in achieving their developmental goals.
It's official and it's happy news. Jennifer Lopez is a mom, twice. The star reportedly gave birth to twins on Long Island early this morning. J.Lo and Mark Anthony are the proud parents of a baby boy and girl. Reps for the couple have not confirmed which hospital Lopez was taken to, but there were rumors floating around that the nurses in the maternity ward at North Shore University Hospital were all ready for a visit from J.Lo. These are the 39-year-old Lopez's first children and hubby Mark Anthony's 4th and 5th.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, you never guess who's behind the wheel of that black vehicle right there, or rather what's behind the wheel. Let's just say you could lure him out with a treat.
And yeah, it's messy and dangerous for driving. But up next, this is why a snowstorm is so much fun.
Sunday, Chris has his own place.
You got your own bachelor pad.
His own girl.
Thanks for inviting me.
And nothing's gonna spoil this mood.
Thanks! 'Cause I ain't raising no babies!
Everybody Hates Chris, followed by Aliens in America.
Sunday starting at 8 on the CW11.
Time is running short to save at Hyundai's Leap Year Sales Event. Your extra long month and your chance at extra big savings are flying by. Take the award-winning Santa Fe or the fuel-efficient Sonata, now with 0% APR for 60 months. Or the Accent, starting just over 10 grand. But the days are counting down, so don't miss out on America's best warranty. Don't wait another 4 years. Hurry this week to your Hyundai dealer. Don't miss your best chance for 0% APR for 60 months. Hurry to your Hyundai dealer.
It's the Macy's One Day Mattress Sale, Saturday. Last day to save 35 to 50% during our final closeout on mattresses. Get a queen 2-piece Sealy Posturepedic for $397. Pay no interest for 6 months when you use your Macy's card. See Macy's.com or call 1-800-MACY-BED to make it even easier. The Macy's One Day Mattress Sale, Saturday. That's the magic of Macy's.
Yeah, I tried it all, from eating absolutely nothing but soup to eating absolutely nothing. At one point, I even hired a life coach. And one day it hit me. The person who knows the most about how I want to live is me.
South Beach Living brings you food that fits your healthy lifestyle. Delicious entrees, bars, and wraps made with whole grains, protein, and fiber. And everything tastes so good, you'll wonder what it was you were doing before you started living. Try living. South Beach Living.
The Range Rover Sport, with complimentary scheduled maintenance. Visit your local Land Rover Center.
Whoever said love was perfect?
Aaron's head is not that shiny.
What, are you kidding? You could bounce a light off that thing and summon Batman.
Girlfriends, Sunday at 9 on the CW11.
Some people in our area made the most out of today's snowstorm. Okay, so most of them were under the age of 12. Still, lots of school children in Seacliff, Long Island, look at that, took the opportunity to get out those sleds and enjoy some winter fun. That looks like fun.
Down the hill they come, and the snow sticks and stays for the next 24 hours. We'll work the towns and take you around the horn. And also, radar is superimposed here. So Southampton, you're in at 33 degrees, a little drizzle. And Jamesport, you're in at 32 degrees. Mauritius, 32 degrees. A little bit of light snow mixed in with frozen precip. That's Jericho, Wyandanch, Copaig. Out on the central portion of Long Island. Flushing, a little drizzle as well. Hamilton Beach, you're above freezing. The Village, the same. Flatbush in at 33 degrees. We spin it out and dry it out of Port Monmouth and also East Freehold. Take you to Sayreville in New Jersey, 33 degrees. One more stop, New Jersey, Oradell, Lodi. Take you to Pumpkin Lakes and Totowa in at 31 degrees. Switch gears, and how's this one? In the park, it's the Snowflake Run tomorrow. So around the park they go. It's a 4-miler, and guess what? Flakes will fly. 9:30 a.m. Temperatures probably in the upper 20s, low 30s. And again, runners have a good time out there. The park is gorgeous, and so will the day feature a little bit of cloud cover, really slate gray, a couple of snow showers early. We think it'll taper off late. You're not going to see the sun tomorrow, very wintry. The mantle of white stays down with temperatures hovering in the low 30s early. In the afternoon, maybe an isolated spritz here and there, especially the central portion of Long Island points east. But here in the city, temperatures will be basically holding in the mid-30s. The best day of the weekend and a honey of a day will be Sunday. Temperatures with golden sunshine in the low 40s. Nice. Guys?
Okay, G. Just when you think you've heard it all, we give you a driving dog.
Yes, he apparently took off in the car when his owner got out to buy a cup of coffee. Meet Max. He caused quite a scare when his owner returned to find the truck missing with Max and his wallet inside. But when cops checked a surveillance camera out, it showed Max putting the vehicle in neutral. I swear. The truck rolled back, went across 5 lanes of traffic, and stopped at a nearby store.
I'm going, hey, where's my truck? And I just walked across the street in the traffic and I said, Max, are you okay? He's just going.
Oh, he's fine. Look at him. And no, he didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, the story almost made it sound as if he deliberately put in a neutral. We don't think that that's the way it went down.
But no.
Just when it seemed investors were going to close out the week on the downside, stocks staged a last-minute recovery.
Deborah Costin tells us all about what turned into a very exciting final half hour of trading and tonight's quick look at Money Matters.
Jim and Heidi, I have to tell you, if you blinked, you might have missed the moment that the stock market turned around late in today's session, and I mean a complete reversal. By the close, we saw a more than 2% reversal from the lows in the Dow Jones Industrial Average to the highs. At one point, the Dow was down 129 points, but by the close, up 96 points. The NASDAQ rose 4 points on the day. That quick turnaround came after shares of Ambac Financial soared on speculation that the bond insurer may announce a bailout plan next week. And another business news today, Genentech won FDA approval to market its top-selling treatment, Avastin, for women with breast cancer. And that could mean more than $700 million in sales this year. Avastin is the first product to work by cutting off blood supply to tumors. It's already approved for colorectal and lung malignancies. And Petco Animal Supplies is unleashing a very new strategy. The pet store chain will reduce the number of live animals it sells by as much as 30%. Petco, of course, they sell things like birds, guinea pigs, and other small pets. They will also increase the number of animals it sells at certain stores. It's planning to tailor its inventory of pets to meet the demand of local customers. That's your business update from the Bloomberg Financial News Desk. I'm Deborah Costrin for the CW11 News at 10. Jim and Heidi, now back to you.
Thank you, Deb. Sal certainly picked a good week to go to
Boy,
Florida.
did he sure did.
Yes, we enjoyed having Lolita here while he's down to spring training. What you got tonight?
And I'm happy to be here. Well, I have the one guy that may have you asking, what are they doing with him? Lolita's lineup is counting them down. First up, the Mets' Aaron Howman, setup man, starter, why the Mets and Aaron himself are good with his role. Sal has more from Florida and Tiger on a roll. What can't this man do? Just ahead.
The new coach is religious, but the team doesn't have a prayer.
Walking on water, that is craziness.
The Game, Sunday at 9:30 on the CW11.
With its sync sound system, Ford Fusion lets you use your phone and MP3 player with just the sound of your voice. And when you can sign and drive a new Fusion SE for just $239 a month with no money due plus no charge maintenance, it sounds even better. Only at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
In college, I wanted to be an architect. But after my father had a heart attack, I devoted my life to studying the heart.
Inventor of the Jarvik artificial heart, Dr. Robert Jarvik.
Now I trust my heart to Lipitor. Adding Lipitor lowers bad cholesterol 39 to 60% when diet and exercise aren't enough. And Lipitor does more. Unlike Crestor, Vytorin, and Zetia, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke if you have several common risk factors for heart disease.
Ready, Dad?
Yeah. And Lipitor is one of the most researched medicines. I'm glad I take Lipitor as a doctor and a dad. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you're taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Lipitor is one of many treatment options to consider with your doctor. Don't wait. Ask your doctor.
It only happens once a year, the President's Celebration event at your Chrysler dealer, where you'll get up to $3,000 cash allowance on Chrysler 300, the most award-winning new car ever, and a vehicle unlike any other, the all-new Town & Country, with stow and go or available swivel and go. Now, very well-qualified returning Chrysler lessees can get a low-mileage lease on a Town & Country Touring for $279 a month. And the best warranty in the business, Chrysler's lifetime powertrain warranty. No deductible, unlimited mileage. But hurry, our President's Celebration event ends February 29th.
Finding your favorite chair has never been easier at Raymore and Flanagan. Big, small, colorful, elegant, bold, inviting, oversized, daring, or just plain relaxing. You'll find them all on sale. Different colors, styles, and fabrics to suit anyone's taste, with guaranteed delivery to your home in 3 days or less. Your favorite chair is on sale right now through Saturday, 9 p.m. at Raymore and Flanagan.
With up to 29 miles per gallon and bold styling, it's no wonder more people look at Ford Fusion. And when you can sign and drive a new Fusion SE for just $239 a month with no money due plus no charge maintenance, it's never looked better. Only at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
Well, the Mets taking some swings today, including Johan Santana, the new Mets ace, excited about the chance to actually hit the season now that he's in the National League. And believe it or not, Aaron Howman is also excited about his role on this team. Many have said, why not make him a starter again? Well, we have the Mets and Howman's answer to that. He sat down with our Sal Marciano down in Port St. Lucie.
I have a pretty resilient arm, and as long as I take care of it and do the proper maintenance, then I'm pretty good.
Heilman has served the Mets well. Their former #1 draft pick began as a starter, but since Willie Randolph took over as manager, Aaron has been the setup man for the closer. Heilman will become a free agent after this season.
My role right now is a reliever, and I'm here to help this team win, and that's my job right now. And will there be an opportunity somewhere down the line for me to start again? I don't know, but I hope there is.
Gets lefties out, gets righties out. His batting average at the bottom of the strike zone is 170. So when you think about the fact that when hitters make contact at the bottom of the strike zone, 170 batting average, that's impressive. And he's always out to improve himself.
We don't have that luxury luxury of kind of pitching around one guy. When we're out there, we're pretty much going right after guys and trying to get as many outs with as few pitches as possible.
What's it like, the New York pressure cooker?
Well, you know, that's a great thing about New York is our fans are definitely into the game and they follow us and you know you want to give them something to cheer for, and hopefully we'll be able to give them a lot to cheer for this year.
Aaron Heilman, the ultimate setup man, has 6 weeks to get ready for opening day. There's no uncertainty about his role. In Port St. Lucie with the Mets, Sal Marciano for the CW11 News at 10.
And remember, for complete Mets spring training coverage, go to our website, CW11.com. Get interviews with your favorite Mets, highlights from spring training, and much, much more. Well, the saga between Roger Clemens and his former trainer continues. Federal investigators are now in possession of a photograph that could prove damaging to the 7-time Cy Young Award winner. Now, according to the New York Daily News, a young man who attended a party thrown by Jose Canseco back in 1998 turned over a photo to authorities placing Clemens at the party. Under oath, this month, Clemens denied even being there, contrary to Brian McNamee, his former trainer's testimony. Clemens' lawyer, Rusty Hardin, tells the paper, quote, "We haven't heard anything one way or the other," end quote. And it will continue to, I'm sure. After an embarrassing 40-point loss to Philly this week, the Knicks are trying to save face. Way over the salary cap means no trade, so what you see on this team is what you're going to get. Sorry, G. Knicks hosting the Raptors, and it didn't look good early on. The Knicks had only 12 points in the first quarter, a season low. Second quarter, TJ Ford dishes here to Chris Bosh, a nice pass, and he gets the stuff. 2 of his 15 first half points. Knicks down 13. Later in the second, Jamal Crawford brings the Knicks back. He drains 3 straight triples, cutting the Raptors' lead to just 1. Then last 6 of the half, Zach Randolph from midcourt. Good! Knicks trailed by 1 at the break. That got everybody pumped. To the third we go, Crawford, and he popped for a season high, 43 points, the Knicks' biggest lead. At this point, 81-75. Down to the wire in the fourth, Knicks by 2. Zach Randolph making key shots when he needed them, drives and kisses this one off the glass. Big game for the big man Randolph, a double-double, 26 points, 15 rebounds. The Knicks outrun the Raptors, 103-99. Applause, yes. Nets at Pacers in the first of a home-and-home. Nets going for their second straight in the post-Kid era. Second quarter, Vince Carter making it look easy. Nets down 1 at the half. Pacers, however, scored 35 points in the third, including Sean Williams forcing the issue here right through the middle. 82-70 Pacers to the fourth quarter. Mike Dunleavy sealing the deal. Dame tres. And he gives me the 3. Dunleavy with 34 points on the night. Pacers win 113-103. Tiger Woods in a duel against Aaron Baddeley in the third round of the Accenture Match Play Championship. This one going to extra holes on the 20th. Beautiful scenery there in Arizona. On the 20th, Baddeley with the chance. And this one's just a little long, giving Tiger the opportunity. From 13 feet out, Tiger for the birdie. Look at this. Oh, yeah, I know that was in. Whatever. His 12th of the day. Tiger advances to the quarterfinals where he'll face last year's U.S. Open champion, KJ Choi. Last note here, Kelvin Sampson has accepted a $750,000 buyout to step down as Indiana's basketball coach after he made improper phone calls to high school players and then misled investigators from both the university and the NCAA. A big no-no. Guys, back to you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Lolita.
You too.
Yeah, that'll do it. Actually, no. We're going to check in.
One last look at weather. I believe we have time for that. Take us into the weekend, Chief.
You want me to leave now? Is that because I always obey the anchors. All right, everybody, here we go on the Triple Cast early in the morning. It's the Snowflake Run. Lolita will not be there this year.
Absolutely not.
Actually, she's never been there. Flurries early, then clouds in the afternoon. The stars are out. Late temps in the 30s and a great end to the weekend. Sundays. Gorgeous.
Fine weather wrap-up. I wouldn't have missed it for anything. That'll do it properly now for this edition of the News at 10. I'm Jim Watkins. For tonight's top stories, go to CW11.com. Click on the News at 10.
And I'm Kaidi John. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here on Monday. Family Guy's next. Good night. But don't forget, the weekend news is going to be Peter and Mary.
And me.
And Lolita.
Yes.
Glad I got that in.
Closed captioning is brought to you as a public service by your local Tri-State Dodge dealers.
So HD is free with digital cable? It's all in this box.
Experience the world of HD with digital cable service from Time Warner Cable, the home of free HD. Call now for local channels, sports, movies, and a huge selection of HD programming. And unlike satellite, HD programming is free with digital cable.
So that's HD.
Get a year of Time Warner Cable for just $39.95 a month. Call 1-866-575-3995.
It only happens once a year. The President's Celebration event at your Jeep dealer, where you'll get up to $4,000 cash allowance on Grand Cherokee, the best-selling full-size SUV in the Northeast, and the all-new Liberty with legendary Jeep strength and capability. Now, well-qualified returning Chrysler lessees can get a low-mileage lease on a Liberty Sport for just $259 a month. And the best warranty in the business, Jeep's lifetime powertrain warranty. No deductible, unlimited mileage. But hurry, our President's Celebration event ends February 20th.